Different location today. Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome to my bedroom. Even though you guys have seen my bedroom, but this is actually my bed. I'm sitting on my bed. So, I still feel like crap, but I promised that I'd be on, so I'm here. I made it. Oh, wait. How you holding up? It's alright. I think it's like the fact that like everything, like, because it's been relatively warm here in Pennsylvania for the most part, you know, so like the flowers are starting to pop and stuff like that. So, and I took the kids outside yesterday because my husband was tired after work, so I took them outside, and then I took them up a walk to by the school building, you know, because I wanted to show them that it was closed and, you know, give them a more visual idea. So, you know, it's literally right up the block, so we like walked up the block and around. So I was outside for about 45 minutes, so, but ever since I woke up this morning, my fucking whole face is like, my sinuses and everything, and so I've like, I've taken Sinex, I've taken Sudafed, and like, nothing wants to work. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Cindy. I totally dig your 3D printing CD. Yeah, Cindy. CD. Hello. If I didn't already have a ton of zippy looms, I'd be like, hey. Although I do like them because they're blue. So that's the fun thing about that. Like, is if you start printing, like if you have a 3D printer and start printing them. Oh, hi, Kia. Sorry, I missed you in the interim. Like you could like do like custom colors and stuff like that. So that would be kind of fun, you know. It's like, oh, I want an 80 peg, you know, 5/16 gauge, and I want it purple, or I want it like purple and green, or, you know, like, it'd be kind of cool where you could like customize it and do stuff like that. So, I'm gonna wait a few minutes and see if Christy pops on. She wanted me to mention that it is Autism Awareness Month, hence the blue shirt. I've got my blue lights on, although it's kind of hard to see. Hold on, let's see if I click this down one. You can see that they're blue, but I think they're looking more like purple. Okay, wait, let's try this. Right. No, they still kind of look blue. They still kind of look purple. But, so, they're meant to be blue, so I tried. So, hi, Jen. So how many people are getting stir crazy? You know, like clawing the walls, or, you know, your idea of a day is to the window, to the wall, to the window, to the wall, you know. Oh, my sister FaceTimed and actually did like a visual of her going from the window to the wall. It was hysterical. So, plus she lives in New York City, so like, you know, they really, you know, are trying to stay in the house, you know, like, I mean, she does take the kids for like walks around the block, but, you know, they make sure that they're staying away from people. But her husband works in Borough Park, where all the Hasidic people are, and they are not social distancing by any stretch of the imagination, and they're doing more than that. So, you know, lucky for him is like he's a foreman now, so he drives around in the car. So, and this state has told the sanitation, like, if they have questions or things like that, they have like a sign literally that says, you know, call 311. So like, if they come over to his car, he just puts this thing up against the thing. He doesn't even open the window for them, you know. So, you know, I'm actually glad that it hasn't gotten too crazy yet. That's the only thing that I'm personally anticipating is, you know, right now we do have the definite stupid people who are just not listening to the social distancing and not staying in the house and not doing those things. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, no, that doesn't make it any less purple. Is there a trick to getting it to play? No, it's live. I don't know why it wouldn't be playing. You would just have to click the video and you should be able to watch. Strange. So, but, yeah, like, that's the one thing that, like, I don't want to say waiting for, because that's, like, I don't want it to happen, but I'm just kind of waiting for it, is where people are gonna, you know, utterly refuse. Yes, my new nice hair. My husband did my hair. It's hard to see in the light the way it is. So, hold on, that's a little bit better. He did it, like, mermaid kind of colors, so it's, like, pink and purple, and there's turquoise in the underneath. So, it's called quarantine hair. I was like, So, thank you, Sandy. I wasn't sure how to figure that one out. So, yeah, I don't remember when our kids first, I mean, I think they've been home for about 3 weeks now, so probably around the same time. So, you know, my teenager was not having it in the beginning. Like, it was like, you know, oh, can my friends come over? It's like, no, you know, your friends cannot come over. You know, it's like, oh, well, you know, or like the kids would come to the house and it's like, you know, we turn around and they'd be in the doorway and it's like, tell your friends to go outside. It's like, we don't want, like, we're not trying to be jerks, but, you know, they can't be in the house, you know. You know, I have a compromised immune system. And I don't want to get sick, you know, and I don't want anybody to get sick. You know, like I was explaining to my mother, you know, because she misses my kids and they were supposed to go down there for Easter. She lives in New Jersey, you know, and it's like, regardless of like my immune system or whatever the case may be, like, yeah, my kids could get sick and they'll get better. Like, who wants that? I don't want to watch my kids be sick. No mother wants to see their kids be sick. No mother would ever want their kids to just be sick. You know, that's like asinine. You know, so. So what about anybody else? How are they, how are you guys handling, these, social distancing or where you live? Have they decided to be in a lockdown, you know, where they're like, they've actually officially declared a stay-at-home order? The state of PA has yesterday just declared the entire state a stay-at-home order. There were certain spots that were stay-at-home, but not the entire state. Now the entire state is is officially under a stay-home order, which is fine because it doesn't affect me in really too many ways anyway. You know, because it's like I don't really go anywhere except to the store and stuff like that, you know, just to go to groceries. And for the most part, I don't even do that. My girlfriend works at Dollar General. So, you know, it's like, hey, on the way home, pick this up. Or, hey, you know, on the way home, grab that, you know, stuff like that. So, because she's already out, because she's considered an essential personnel to begin with. So, and she has a lot of stuff at her own store, so it's not even like she has to go outside her own store. So. Well, you know, and the problem is like, and again, like I was saying 2 seconds ago, is that what I'm afraid of is because we have a culture that is cultivated this mindset about me, not about everybody, but about me. And while some of it was meant to be about like togetherness and about, you know, situations where, you know, for other groups of people, it really becomes, what about me, my personal feelings, my personal needs, and it's inherently selfish. And you're telling people that you can't do this, like Florida is a perfect example, and it was like, all right, we know what's going on, the numbers are skyrocketing and things like that, and people are partying and they don't give a fuck, like, oh, I don't care and whatever, and like even New York right now, it's like New York is like adamant about literally not just locking down their state. Their numbers are doubling, their deaths are rising, and you still have people out on the streets. You still have people stuffing themselves into train stations, and nobody seems to give a shit. They want to cry, well, we need more ventilators because the amount of sick are going to go up and things like that. Yeah, it's like, yeah, great. You can scream about ventilators all you want. Maybe you should actually lock the city down. Maybe you should actually stop people from being in the streets. So, well, they're talking about that now, like Japan, like I just saw a video on Japan where they haven't started yet, but the Cherry Blossom Festival is coming, and people are out, and yeah, some of them wear masks, but that's just part of their culture out there, But there's that whole tourism part of the festival. And they're telling their leader, and he's like refusing. His big thing was like, oh, well, no, we're not, we're fine. And then he's like, well, we'll authorize 2 masks per house. Like, what is the idiocy? Like, at that point, why are you even bothering? Like, who are you placating? You think people are stupid? But they're saying that their numbers are gonna fucking skyrocket too. And then there's countries over in Europe where they're like, oh, they're not self-isolating and their numbers are really low and things like that. It's like, yeah, but again, things popped at different times, you know what I'm saying? And if you're gonna not stop people from coming in, and if you're not gonna stop the contagion from getting around, it's just gonna explode, because you and I have played the game Pandemic, and our friend made a joke about it, it's like, oh, this is like a giant game of Pandemic. It's like, in a matter of an instant, you could try to eradicate in one area, and then all of a sudden, it just fucking explodes somewhere else, and and it explodes in that one area, and it spreads so fast, and it's really hard when the game starts to do that, to countermeasure that. It's like, okay, you have to build your places, your centers for disease, you have to take the time to build it, and in real life time, that game, goes on a turn by turn basis, but it's like days and days and days, so it's really difficult. I find people like that find that game very difficult, and they can't understand the concept of the game, because you have to have a different mindset, And if you don't give a shit about the death toll, and that's the biggest thing. You have our president saying right now, it's like, all right, 100,000 people easy are going to die, maybe 200,000 people. And people are like bugging out about that. It's like, yeah, but this is what's going to happen at current situation. Like, so what do you think is going to happen if you guys don't start listening, And people want to cry about the amount of people that are going to die, but at the same time, you're not doing anything about it. Because it's not about them. When Grandma Sophie dies, or Grandpa John dies, or, my cousin dropped dead, then it's a different story. Then it's personal, but until it hits somewhere in a personal realm for some of people, they literally don't give a shit because it doesn't affect them. They're not sick. Their friends aren't sick. Their family's not sick. So, again, if it's not about me, I don't care. So, hi, Melissa. And that's the saddest part about it, is if you don't care. You're not going to care about a stranger. Why would you give 2 shits about them, So, hi, Jackie. So, until there's some kind of literally forcifying that I don't even know if that's a word. Until, states are, and it's election year, and that's the biggest bullshit of it all, is that it's a fucking election year, and everybody's worried about what their constituents are thinking of them. I think it was, I don't know if it was Georgia or one of the fucking governors of the states just turned around and said, like, they just realized that asymptomatic people could be carrying it and giving it to people. It's like, oh, we were just informed that. It's like, that's been out since fucking February, you lying sack of shit. Like, you know, you have 10 million people in your state. Are you serious? But this is the idiocy that is going on, and nobody wants to take the blame for shutting shit down. You know, it's like, who wants to do that? You know, you try very nicely to say, okay, we're gonna put social distancing in place. We're gonna do a little bit here, a little bit there, and it's like, we're asking you to be an adult and listen to what's going on here and take it upon yourself to stay the fuck home. And people will not stay the fuck home. So then it's like, you have the camps that are like, all right, like, close down the state of Florida, do this, you know, things like that, close down the state of New York. And they're just, like, dragging their ass across the floor because they don't want to be blamed for the bad stuff that's coming. So, my daughter's great-grandfather died. I'm very sorry, Kia. I am. That is terrible. You know, it's, you know, I mean, I don't want to be like, you know, people die all the time, and that's fine. But when you purposely subject people to something, that's what this is. You know what I'm saying? You are literally purposely subjecting people to that. And you've got, like, asinine people. Like, there's the firefighter in New York who got coughed on purpose. They have videos of these people doing it on purpose. You know, the guy in Walmart that coughed on the girl, the woman who coughed on her on the food. Like, you've got to be shitting me. But that's part of, like, again, that is what we have created, where it's like, well, I don't want to wait on fucking line. I don't want to have to, like, I have things to do, so fuck everybody else. And you know, come on. But, you know, that's where we're at right now. Like, I think we're seeing a different idea of the fact that more and more people are selfish a-holes. You know, they don't want to just stay at home and listen and take care of it. What is except for lockdown, except for essential workers? Hold on. I gotta see what the rest of what you wrote. I can't see it. There it is. Okay. Yeah, well, essential workers are pretty much the only ones that can get about. You know, my husband can go to work because he works for the post office and stuff like that. But, you know, it's absolutely going to get worse before it gets better on different levels. You know, a lot more jobs. Like, we're up to 6.6 million people out of work. You know, we're getting near the recession of 08 and 09. My sister works for Smile Direct Club, and Smile Direct Club was just on the news of how they turned around and they're using their 3D printers to make masks and ventilator pieces and things like that. So they're keeping the company open on that level, but they basically furloughed all their people. So, like, my sister, she's furloughed, which means that she is out of work right now and can go try to claim unemployment. And then when everything comes back together, and if they do open up back the shop, she does have a job. So it's like she didn't, like, lose her job per se, but her job is not going to pay her, and they allow her to get unemployment. I mean, I'm an electrician. I've known about furlough for a long time, but, well, I was an electrician. But, you know, from what I understand, in the state of New York, you have people, you know, because you're supposed to do it online, but there's a point where I guess you have to call in or something. I don't really know, but people aren't getting through. So if you're supposed to be on a timely fashion of, like, getting through and getting your shit done and stuff like that, that could be, like, weeks, you know, of missed money that you're not getting, you know, and they have to do something about, like the mortgage companies and things like that. They're like, you know, from what I understand, like, a couple of the companies are like, yeah, you don't have to pay for, like, 3 months, but then at the end of the 3 months, you have to give them a balloon payment. What? Like, who's going to have that money? You know what I'm saying? So what is the point of that? You know, it's like, all right, yeah, don't pay us for 3 months, but at the end of 3 months, you owe us 3 months all in one shot. That's stupid. You know, just do not a deferment, but a forbearance, where it's like, all right, you collect 3 months of extra interest that you wouldn't have got, and then you pay it on the back end. So no, that's a good thing, because like Kia had asked ways for people to stay mentally sound during this kind of things, things like that, Showtimes and Epics being free, for a week or two, some movies, some TV shows, definitely things to distract from what's going on. I can't even bother listening to the news after a while. I'll check in on certain things, obviously things pop in my feed, and videos will pop up, but like I can't sit there and watch the news all day long and listen to this crap, because it's just honestly ridiculous after a point. I mean, any normal sound person just has to say, all right, enough is enough, and like you need to tell people to stay in. You want to cry about the nurses and not having enough equipment and doctors and all of these things. It's like, but the progression of sickness would not be growing exponentially if people would just stay the fuck at home. Listen, why is it that always your stuff? I can't see all of it. Okay, there we go. It's frustrating on every level. I mean, I'll talk about it now anyway, even though I was going to wait until she popped on. I had said at the beginning it is Autism Awareness Month, so obviously the color for autism is blue. I'll post some sources, Christy posted some places where you can donate and to get some information about autism, but her son is in a place and they're on total lockdown. That did not work at all. I still can't see. They're in total lockdown, and then people of certain illnesses and mental instability and all that stuff need certain things to go. You know what I'm saying? They become accustomed to routine and things like that, and then when that routine is being broken, unfortunately for whatever reason, you have unfortunate consequences, and those kind of consequences can be even more detrimental, and she can't go see him. It's not like, all right, hey, something happened, he slipped and fell, where, all right, she could go see him and talk to him and give him, it's like, all right, mom's here, give him like some calming and comfort and things like that. He can't have that because they're in total lockdown, and they haven't designed a way for people to do any kind of like FaceTime or things like that. So I was just talking about you. There you go. It's hard for everybody right now about everything, and again, the mental stability is frustrating too, because again, like for me with the kids, my little ones, they're in kindergarten and pre-K, and they are not mandatory to do work and to be on and stuff like that. Like the teachers are still there. They're there for talking. They're giving information. They're giving work over the classroom dojo. But I was just talking to my daughter's pre-K teacher, and we were discussing, because she's a teacher and she has kids, and I was like, well, at this time it must be nice for, at least your children to have you there to be able to teach them something, because like my sister's kids, they're being given the work, they're being given the lesson plan, and then my sister's kind of teaching them because they're not on to teach the lessons. And from what I found out now, as part of it has to do with like a lot of people were going to Zoom and using that teleconference program, and it has so many security breaches, because people don't realize that you have to have your own secure room and things like that. If you make it a public room, anybody can jump in, and they had a classroom of kids where some guy jumped in and exposed himself to all the kids. You had another time where somebody jumped in and was saying all kinds of racial slurs, and so now they're backing off. My son was supposed to have his teachers on this week, and they've all canceled because the teachers union is like, all right, we're not getting involved in this because we don't want you to be held accountable for something that you didn't do. This program wasn't designed by the schools for the schools, so it doesn't have that kind of protection. Like, it's, you know, it's crazy, but the kids are having such a hard time, you know, learning without their teacher teaching it to them. So, we had 6 people that don't talk or don't understand the small Gaia. And it is very frustrating for that, like, as you know, you do go stir crazy, and like, even if you can't, like, even just take them out, or like, you know, go for a walk and things like that, because I know it's not possible in some of those cases. I know, there's no easy answer, let's put it that way, for anybody. There's no easy answer to this. You can't just say, okay, hey, you know, all right, I mean, I just said that, you know, we should just lock everything down and force people to stay home. I'm not saying that that's an easy answer. It's an answer, it's not an easy answer. Sometimes you have to do things, you know, as a parent, we know that sometimes we have to make our kids unhappy and sad, but they don't understand that it's for the benefit of them. So some people, grown-ups and all, sometimes you have to do for them because they don't understand, and they don't do what's right for themselves. So the lights are blue too, but they're not really coming off blue. I tried, but so I've got blue, and then I put my Donald Duck pants on, thinking, because he wears blue all the time. So, yeah, I did say that it was Autism Awareness Month, and I know you put up some links, so let me find the thread where they are, and let's see. Let me see here. I know you posted them. Did you send them in a message? Yes, you did. Okay. I'm like, wait a minute. I know I had them. So there is the Autism Society of America for support and donations, and that is www.autism-society.org. So you can go there and support and give donations. And then, this is a long one, so I'll just copy and paste it, or if Christy, you want to copy and paste it, there is the autism fact sheet. And that, I'm going to open it so I can look at it myself again. And this is, you know, it explains, like, what is autism, stories from people that have kids and stuff with autism. There's a database, there's a facts and statistics. So, you know, this is a resource for understanding, for getting involved. You know, the ideas of living with autism. It has, looks like educational links, planning links. So I'm sure there's links I see for mental health and well-being. So, like, for parents and things like that. So, you know, it's a struggle on many levels. I know quite a few people that have children with autism, different forms, some being verbal, some being nonverbal, and it every day is a different thing. You know, you have to learn. I know there's a dad. I don't know if you know him, Christy. I've seen some of his videos where his daughter is a nonverbal. And he basically vlogs about his life, him and his daughter, and they have like a live-in aide now, and they would always joke that she was the girl's best friend, but like they've really realized that she kind of is, because even though she's nonverbal, she reacts differently to her, and you know, and things like that. But the whole thing is about showing the life of a parent and, you know, a child that is autistic, especially a nonverbal autistic child. So, you know, and it's very difficult, and sometimes it's isolating for a parent. I mean, I can't even try to relate. I mean, I could try to relate as a mom to a mom kind of thing, but even then, I know, seeing some of my other friends that have autistic children, it can be isolating, because from being a mom to a mom, so being a kid with a mom to a normal other mom, and I don't mean normal in a bad tense, you know, it's like, all right, we can share some of the things for our children, but sometimes for our autistic moms, I know a lot of them say that, you know, that if they don't find a support system within the community and things like that, it can be very isolating for them, because it's just, sometimes you just need someone to understand, you know, the things that you deal with, and the ideas, you know, sometimes somebody to bounce things off of, you know. You can't just be like, hey, Nikki, you know, what do you do when you're, you know, your child can't speak to you and it's frustrating for him to get his point across? And it's like, well, I don't necessarily know how to help you, you know, where somebody, again, like just as you, it's a community, you know, but it's always nice too that, you know, people understand, you know, what that is. There's a child in the school here that is autistic, and he's like a self-soother. He makes this noise. So like sometimes he would walk home with his mom and he would make this noise. And my kids one day were like, why is he making that weird noise? You know, and I saw the mom kind of like check over her shoulder at me, you know, because it is hard, you know. And I explained to my kids, it's like, listen, you know, he's a special little boy, and he does that for maybe different reasons, maybe, you know, for this reason or that reason and whatever, you know. And the mom just looked back at me and she goes, thank you. And I said, for what? She's like, well, you know, some people would be rude and whatever. I said, well, some people suck, but, you know, I said, I hope I didn't say anything wrong, because I don't know her. I don't know the child. I didn't know why he was doing it, but I was trying to at least explain to my children, you know, something, you know, instead of them being like, oh, he's weird or whatever. It's like, no, he's not weird. He's different. That's not the same. Sorry, I need a tissue. I don't know why that made me tear up, but it did. So, you know, it's hard, you know, I mean, so it's, you know, even as a regular mom, like, you know, there's sometimes where I have moments where it's like I don't have anywhere to go or anybody to talk to, or at least I feel that way, you know. So I can imagine, you know, for somebody like that, sign language is great and picture boards are great. Yeah, no, you know, and there are definitely, you know, different things that, you know, but it's frustrating sometimes where you're like out and about. Listen, as a mom, just as a general mom, if you have one of those kids that like wants to like throw a tantrum and like other parents are looking at you, you know, and stuff like that, you know, that nasty side eye look, you know, it would be even harder for someone that's not like, hey, you could just tell your child to fucking knock it off, you know, or give your child a swat on the ass if that's the kind of mom you are. You know, it's not the same thing. You know, it's very difficult. Like, I know, what's up, Declan? Oh, your iPad. Where's your other one? Okay, can you put it away, please? So, I have another friend that their son, they would take him to a restaurant, and, you know, they had taken him there before, but I guess at one point, he was being especially difficult at the table, and customers were complaining, and it was like, well, you know, and she was like, well, as a mom, she's like, well, I've been coming here, you know, she's like, so I have a very bad night with my kid, and, you know, and I feel bad, you know, I feel bad, because it's like you feel embarrassed and things like that, but it's like, you know, what you want people to is just to fucking understand. It's like not that simple, you know. No, you cannot steal my cookies. Go ask Daddy. Get out. You're stealing my cookies, my kids. Go. I know, again, like, you know, I could just tell my kid, hey, get the hell out of here, you know, go do your own thing, you know, go take care of yourself. You know, it's not that simple. And it's, like I said, the biggest thing is understanding, you know, them and giving, you know, support. So, you know, if nothing else, like, I would definitely, like, look at the autism support site, the fact sheet and things like that, you know, just so you have an idea, you know, maybe you don't know anybody personally, and maybe, you know, whatever, but anybody who knows Christy here, she absolutely has a child with autism, so now you know somebody if you didn't think you did. But it's, you know, there are things that, you know, you can always learn. There's no reason not to just take a look and things like that. And, you know, and if you can donate and support, you know, that would be an amazing help. And I think everyone here would appreciate that. So, Isn't that nice? It's like, yeah, it's whatever. I'm happy. It doesn't matter, and and they and absolutely can be. So, now, Melissa, does everybody that you have there have some kind of difficulty, or do you work like for like certain special care, not just like an elderly care kind of facility? Oh, I know sometimes the chat and the live feed don't go hand in hand, so I'm waiting a few seconds to see if you answer me. So, is Jake 27? Wow, I didn't realize that he's that old. He still looks like a boy. Gotcha. And like I said, and with this whole COVID-19 thing, you have to worry. Like I was actually talking to my mom about you, Christine, and she was like, my mom gets like incensed for everybody in the world, and that's where I get it from. And she was like, well, that's ridiculous. They could put stuff on them and do these things. And I'm like, it's not worth it. You don't understand. It is not worth it. You had people, all those people that died in Washington State was because they knew it was going on, and they were limiting visitors, and they allowed this woman in to go see somebody, and she got everybody sick. She didn't have symptoms, and whatever the case may be, but that, they can't chance it. So and I was like, it's just not worth it. They're like complaining, like up in New York, it's like, oh, women that are having babies by themselves, they're like, it's ridiculous. Why can't you dress the fathers up, the same way you dress the nurses and things up? It's like, yeah, but you're not guaranteeing that these people are going to do the right thing. They're not a nurse or a doctor. They're not held to a certain kind of standard, and I think it would absolutely be miserable. And I totally understand, from a mental state that this is difficult. You want to have a baby, you want to have your husband there, you want to have people come see your baby and stuff like that, or at least have your significant other there, or your support person there, your partner, whatever. And they're not allowing that. But again, we have gotten to a state now where it is so contagious. We don't know people, with asymptomatic people and things like that. We have to worry because people are just getting sick and dying, and it's not right. An infant died from the COVID-19, so it's like, okay, it's not like, babies can't die from it. Now we know that they can. I don't know if there was special circumstances with that particular child, but and it just runs back to the beginning where it's like, okay, people are inherently selfish, and it wouldn't be fair for me to get sick and my kids to not have me or things like that because someone else wants to be a selfish prick. It's like, oh, I stayed in and I did everything I was supposed to do, and then somebody, coughed on my food or whatever, it's just ridiculous. So. And the fact that they're like, again, that they're on lockdown now. It's like, why is it now? Again, what, in the beginning of February where everything was still kind of like, whatever, and the numbers from China weren't coming out as whatever, and we know that they're lying. We have intel that they're lying. There are a million things that are telling us that they're lying, that there are a disgusting amount of people that are dead in China. But why are we waiting now to stop this from happening? We've known for weeks that these numbers were escalating to an obnoxious amount, but, hold on, make sure I see everything because it's on my phone, it locks it up. Okay. We're not allowed to take anything. Hell, so all my bike and gear has been taken in the shed and stays there till I go home. And then, hold on, I want to see what Elizabeth said. something about not following. Okay, not following the guidelines. They just got $610,000 fine, plus may lose their Medicaid and Medicare funding. You know. You know what though? Like, and I get it for the facility's point of view. You know that. You know they should be held accountable for those things and not following the guidelines and things like that. But it's just nuts. It's just nuts. Yeah, I mean, I know it's been around since like November last year, but like in February where things started to really ramp up, because that's where like at least our people are going back to and saying, okay, look, basically in February we were aware in fucking February that this was going to get bad, you know, but they didn't listen. It was like the cruise ships, and people like now they're refusing to allow the cruise ships to dock, and they're forcing them to go back to where they are, you know. And most people that take cruises are too stupid to realize that if something happens on a cruise ship, you're not protected by U.S. laws because the boats aren't registered in the U.S. They're registered in the islands, and so now they're sending people there, and then you have to go there, and they don't have adequate help there. And then you have to pay to be, you know, helicoptered off somewhere else, you know, or they're leaving people on the boats, and it's. I understand on a personal level, but like you still went on a goddamn cruise ship knowing this was. You went into an incubator because you wanted to still go on your cruise and you still wanted to go and do your stuff, and so because you were selfish, now you're crying that you can't come back and you can't do this. Well, too bad. You were selfish. You got on the cruise ship. You can't come back, you know? Better late than never. Had a cyber raid from hell. If staying home saves one life, it'll be worth it. And you know what? But and I don't disagree. You know, but that the whole idea is, you know, you sacrifice the one for the many. So if I have to stay home so other people don't get sick, then stay the fuck home. Like, it doesn't matter that you're not sick. You may be asymptomatic. You may not be somebody, but you may be a carrier. You may be giving it to other people even though it's not affecting you. So, yeah, you know, I didn't understand what you were saying at first. Yeah, well, and even then, I mean, the ships are like, you know, they're, again, people are like, oh, they're worried about that, and you know how long stuff, it's like they're less inclined about the shipping ships, particularly because it's like, all right, they've been in and out of different climates and stuff like that, but, you know, there are ways to make it better. And while it may be inconvenient and it may be frustrating and things like that, these are things that we have to think about. And this, I think this is a big wake-up call to a lot of people, I think especially in this country, because, again, we don't live in a China and in Russia and things like that where they basically can, or in Iran where they can lie about their numbers. They don't give two shits about their people. They're welding them in their houses. They're literally just like... You know, and people are dying and dead, and they don't give a rat's ass. And they're lying about it on top of the fact. Like, in this country, how do you want to get away with that? Like, in Italy, you know, even in Italy, you know, people can say that, yeah, the population was, you know, a certain amount of people over the age, you know, so more people were gay and blah, 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 blah. Whatever the case was, even if that wasn't the case, and just the amount of influx and the overload on their system, they still would have had to start choosing who to treat and who not to treat. We don't do that here. Could you imagine if we tried doing that here? And that's what people don't get. The reason that Italy happened like that is because Italy got overloaded and they didn't have the ability to treat these people because they didn't take the precautions ahead of time to stop people from getting it. They knew that their people were of dying ages and things like that. They could have acted sooner. They could have acted faster. And they know that, listen, 2020 is whatever. in their case, but looking at them saying, okay, look at what happened to them, look how they overloaded their system, look how they fucked everything up, and now they had to choose who gets to live and die. You know, you get other people choosing whether or not you live or die, or chooses whether or not your family lives or dies. Do you want that to be on somebody else's decision list today? But we don't have to get to that point here in America until we do. Like, is that what these fucking people are waiting for? It's like, oh, well, it's not that bad yet. It's like, yeah, but that's what everybody else kept saying. It's not that bad yet. And every time yet was the word, it was okay, and here it comes. You know, it's like asking for it. It's like, you know, it's like a fucking horror movie. You know? There are rules. Like, you just don't get it. Like, there are these people that, you know, they are big brain, get paid lots of money, went through crazy schooling that none of us went through, and they're telling you, hey, fucking dummies. And people are like, what do they know? Disease Control Center, you don't know nothing. The WHO, you don't know nothing. Oh, you don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? You know? But again, like I said, look at New York. New York is the fucking epicenter, and they're still not on a quarantine level. They are still allowing people out in the streets. They're, like, literally doing nothing. It's like, I don't know what you want. Keep screaming about ventilators. How about you just close your borders, and how about you force people to stay the fuck home? You're not going to have enough people to treat. You're not going to have enough people to run those ventilators if you keep it up. But that's neither here nor there, you know? I mean, I feel bad because I have family in New York and New Jersey. You know, like I said, my sister's husband is sanitation and things like that. You know, and those are things that I have to think about for them. And, you know, they have contact with my mom, and my mom is of an age and a compromised immune system on top of the fact. And then, I know, and then I don't want to be an asshole because it's like, all right, my kids miss my mom and my mom misses my kids. And it's like, yeah, well, right now, nobody's going anywhere. So, let alone Crazy Kelly. You know, but again, even if you live alone, you know, you could still be good about, like, not going out and doing other things. And I'm not saying you personally, but I'm saying, like, other people, you know, it's like, well, I don't have to worry about anybody else. I just have to worry about me, and I don't care about me. It's like, yeah, but you need to care about your neighbors. You need to care about the people, you know. There are other people in this world, and there are too many people who don't care about anybody else. And they don't care whether or not they get sick because it doesn't affect them, you know. You know, you're 20, 25 years old, and you don't think, like, oh, well, I think everything's fine, and I'm going to be good, and I'm not going to get sick, or even if I get sick, I'm not going to die, so what the fuck do I care? Yeah, but you're the a-holes that are fucking transmitting it and giving it to everybody because you're still going and doing.
Mommy.
So, yes.
You turn a grandma, now, you turn an old weedy, now you died.
Yes.
Yeah, like Grandpa died.
Yes. Be an old lady. So.
I don't want you to be old lady and die. Because I love you so much.
Well, I love you too. So. Well, you're not supposed to be in here, so beat it.
And I'm the camera, so.
Yeah, no, you still have to leave. Go. Really? Declan, go.
I want a cookie. A cookie.
Fine. Take another cookie and go away. Go. Cookie was the deal. Beat it. Bribery. So, yeah, he's cute. So, you know, but that's a whole nother level of other things, you know. I mean, they're on that weird level where they don't all really grasp what's going on. Like, where my sister's kids are at the age where they're kind of grasping and they're freaking out. Like, mine, like, you know, it's like I have to keep her, like, explaining to them, you know, about people getting sick and, you know, we don't want things to happen and that's why we can't go to the park and things like that. You know, like, my dad died 2 years ago and every so often we still have to, like, remind him or, you know, explain or say something. So, but, you know, and that's hard too, you know. And that's another thing, going back to frustrations and things like that with, like, the schooling system and things like that. You know, I know the kids need to learn and I know that they need structure and they need these things, but at the same time that, like, in my sister's case in New York, it's like they're not like teaching, and then the teachers are screaming that they're not getting their spring break. It's like, you know what, like, this is like an unprecedented time. You know, don't mind me, it's ice. It's an unprecedented time for things, and again, it's like being selfish. It's like, oh, we don't get our time off. It's like, you know what? Like, I don't want to hear it right now. Like, we're on all hands on deck. You're a teacher. You become an essential worker, and even as an essential worker, you're being told to like work away and work at home, but you still have to work, and you still have to pitch it in. You know what I'm saying? You know, doctors are working triple shifts. They're not leaving the hospital. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, yes, under extreme circumstances, like, this is not what a teacher necessarily signed up for. But you did sign up to be a teacher, which means that you're supposed to give two shits about the kids and their learning and their well-being. So, I know I wanted to be a teacher at some point. I did go to school, but I just don't get it sometimes. So, anyway. So. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. You've been teasing us all with all of your lovely breads and things like that. I actually looked at the last thing you made that I commented on, and I'm like, maybe I could make some bread. I'm like, and somebody was like, you could use beer for the yeast. I'm like, maybe I could do that. But then I'm like, no, I don't want to. I want some of my neighbors to cook for me. Oy. So has anybody got any, Kia had asked me about other things to take our mind off of stuff, and we're still talking about the COVID thing. For that purpose, you know, there's a lot that, you know, at this point I think it's a lot of changing your habits and things like that, you know, because a lot of people are, you know, outside people, and their idea of entertaining themselves is to go out and to do things, and at this point that's not the case. And in the fact that, like, for us in this group at least, you know, we're knitters, we're crafters and things like that, so we can do those things. You know, me, I don't have to worry. I do have, you know, all of the stuff I need in the house. I did see somebody saying, you know, that they were doing stuff, and it's like, you know, how do they get stuff? And, you know, their Michael's is closed, and it's like, yeah, but a lot of them are doing like curbside, so you can order online and basically drive up. Somebody like literally throws their bag, you know, at your head and then runs away, you know, and things like that. So, you know, I know Joanne's is doing that. I know Michael's is doing that. There's still online, if anybody's not been ordering from Amazon, again, if it's in the warehouse, Amazon is sending it. So, like, that whole idea that, you know, people aren't getting stuff from Amazon, or Amazon's not shipping stuff if it's not, you know, an essential supply, that's not a truth. That's a misunderstanding of what they were trying to say. So, you know, you can still get crafting supplies and things like that. You can still get yarn from different companies. You know, Hobium and Ice Yarns and things like that, they're still selling. Their prices for shipping have gone up because, like, Hobium and Ice Yarns are not in the country, and they use DHL. So because of everything that's going on, DHL has raised their prices, so hence the prices are raised. But they still have really good deals. Like, I was looking at some Hobium yarns, and it was going to be like $50 for like the yarn, but then like a $25 shipping charge, but it still would have been, you know, cheaper than buying certain yarns from like a Michael's or whatever, and then paying like a $8 shipping charge. So, you know, you have to like do your math there, but there are definitely places you can still go, you can still get stuff, you know, so, Joanne's was forced to close, not an essential. Well, you know, again, that's going to probably start happening, you know. I mean, again, I'm sure their onlines are still going as far as I know. But like I said, I guess in a lot of places, you know, depending on what the orders are and where the forcing of what is an essential business and what isn't, you know, like I know the one up in Vestal, New York, they're still doing curbside service because it comes up when I look. Yeah, you can buy your vapes online. There are plenty of those companies, you know, I'm trying to think. Like Aspen Vapes. Oh my god, I get emails like continuously all day long from different vape companies. But a lot of them are still going and sending out stuff. Actually, a lot of them are actually running low on products. But, as long as they can still function, a lot of them saying that, as long as we can still function within our states and things like that, we will continue to ship out things. So, yeah, I know. Thanks. You suck. And that was to Cindy, in case anybody wanted to know. But yeah, no, I mean, I have like some people, and it's the joke is, are you a real crafter if you don't have like a stockpile of shit in your house anyway? So we were prepared for this. We don't ever have to leave the house. I have enough, yarn and tools and stuff. So, but other than that, other things than obviously crafting, reading, there's a lot of online, reading that you can do. Again, you could always order books, but there's plenty of stuff that you can do. I know a lot of libraries are closed, so it's not easy to get because I know some online libraries you can borrow digitally. You can get ebooks from them. But even if you don't have an ebook reader, you can get if you have a computer, you have a smartphone or things like that, you can get free readers, and then you can download free books. So that's definitely a way to pass the time. There's a lot of companies are offering free stuff right now, or at severely discounted prices. YouTube is really cool. You can find people that are doing readings of books if you want an audio book, or some people put audiobooks online. I like watching YouTube because there's a constant influx of different stuff. I can dig around, videos pop up of different ilks. What else? Games, online games, things like that. Like I play Raid Shadow Legends. Sue's not here, but her D&D group went to online D&Ding because there's free systems that you could use to D&D. You could find ways to and that's the other thing is to stay connected to still people. Unfortunately, we might have to go back to actually talking to people on the phone and stuff like that. My mother is never one to FaceTime me first. It would always be hey, I'm gonna FaceTime you, or hey mom, go get daddy's old phone because I'm gonna call the phone, because she's afraid of iPhones. So she has my dad's phone. So I call his number to FaceTime with the kids and stuff like that. And she just called me out of nowhere because she wanted to see the kids and stuff. What? No, they know about my hair. Declan wanted to know that I did my hair. Actually, Daddy did my hair.
Okay, I want to say hi. Make it up there. Okay, I gotta go in the
Come here. Side. Come here. No. I'm gonna rip the hole. He wants to say hi.
Hi, guys.
This is Declan. So. Hi. So what are you doing?
I don't know.
What have you been doing since you've been home and no school?
Sick.
What have you been doing?
I'm just playing my iPad.
I'm playing with your iPad? Yeah. What are you playing on your iPad?
Roblox.
Roblox. What else? What games do you have to play in the morning?
BC Mouse and Smarty Ants.
That's right. BC Mouse and Smarty Ants, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been going out and outside, just in the driveway, riding your bike?
Mm-hmm. And I take a walk, and this is what happens. And Waylon it take 1 minute. Waylon come out, and he come out right now.
Oh, Waylon's our neighbor, so
Yeah.
Waylon came out.
Yeah.
What about Waylon's sister? Kai come out? Yeah.
All of them come out.
Oh, that's right. John and Casey came out. Those are our neighbors. So they live behind us.
And I found some friends.
Oh?
At school.
How'd you find your friends at school?
Because I didn't know what my name because people would tell me.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Alright, now go hang out with your sister, okay?
Okay, I can just go on the couch and just do nothing. Like, blah.
No.
And say, like, blah.
No.
Okay.
Go.
Bye, guys.
So that's what the 6-year-old is doing. So he plays his iPad, he plays his games on his iPad, he rides his bike, you know. And it's not like you can't, like, absolutely go outside. And even most places that have, like, stay-at-home orders, you know, you could go for a walk around the corner and things like that. So, thank you, Caddy. Hi, Declan.
What?
There you go. Like, again, you know, find a different device, you know, to like you said, Facebook watching and stuff. You know, Facebook actually has a whole watch section.
Yeah, you're right, Mommy.
Go, you little goof. So, if Daddy's still on, come get him. But, you know, you know, like, you just have to, you know, think about it. You know, like, there's, especially now, like, compared to, like, when I was a kid and stuff, there's so much technology, there's so much to do. You know, like, my eldest son, you know, he's 15, gonna be 16, and it's like, you know, he plays his video games, but if he can't play his video games or his friends aren't on, he, like, doesn't know what to do with himself. It's like, watch a movie, read a book, you know, talk to your friends, you know, do something. You know, he got an accidental 24-hour ban from one of his games, and, like, he was, like, bitching and moaning about it. It's like, there are other games you can play. You don't have to play just that game, you know, but there's so much stuff out there. There's so much technology. There's so much free stuff. And then given the fact of, like, what's going on right now, a lot of companies are offering a lot of free stuff. I know, like, Spectrum in New York is offering free internet for, like, 60 days. And, you know, so there's a lot of things going on there. You just have to, you know, branch out from that, you know, and that's the only way you're going to keep yourself sane is to keep yourself busy. You know, honestly, you know, I'm not going to say not stay informed of what's going on, but I literally wouldn't sit there and watch, like, news constantly. And honestly, you're better off, like, maybe, you know, I feel like I'm better off reading certain things than, like, watching the parade of shit that goes on the TV sometimes, because it's like they do things on purpose to sensationalize and make a bigger deal out of stuff. And I think there's a lot of fear-mongering where if I read an article, I can go read another article and I can start making my own opinions and things like that. So, go.
Okay.
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna get mad. Bye.
I put my iPad here.
No, out. You know, so, you know, there's a lot of things that you know, again, you have just to take it upon yourself to, you know, mental health is in this time period right now. You know, if watching the news upsets you and is causing you anxiety and things like that, turn it off. You know, that's the best thing that I can say. You know, if you're anxious sitting around, then get up. You know, again, it's not, you can't go outside. You can't, you know, even if you just go outside your door and sit on your porch or something like that, you know, as long as there ain't fucking 10 of you sitting on the porch, you know, you'll be okay. So, you know, go outside, you know, enjoy the sun for 5 or 10 minutes. So, yeah, I can't. My husband tries to watch the news. He's, like, banned from, like, watching the news anywhere near me for the most part. And even, like, when he watches the news, like, if I start hearing him, like, bug out, I'm like, turn it off, because I don't want to listen to this, and you're going to get yourself all fucking riled up, and no. You know, it's just not worth it, you know. It's like every time, like, I see it, it's like, it's just nuts, you know. And then if it's not about, like, what's factual and what's not factual, then it's a political debate, and then it's nonsense, you know. It's like, you know, like the latest thing, it's like, all right, we're now talking about, you know, who put what in the bills and who's trying to push stuff and who's trying to do this. And it's like, it's about a huge political agenda, you know, because it's a fucking election year, and, you know, it's just crazy, you know. Like, they're talking about, like, mail-in ballots. Like, it's like, oh, you know, Nancy Pelosi is like, oh, we're you know, we're going to have to go into like a mailer system. And it's like, there are many states that actually have laws in place where you cannot do that. So again, then you'd have to convene lawmakers to change constitutions of states and stuff like that. It's like, look, like, worrying about the ballot in fucking November, like, yeah, all right, you can have the conversations, but you don't have to have them on a fucking, you know, grand stage. Like, this is something that, like, maybe you should, like, consider, get a working plan together, and then maybe present it to the people and say, okay, listen, this is what we were doing, you know, we didn't want to make a big deal out of it, you know, we didn't want to take focus away from stuff, you know, whatever the case may be. But that's why it's like I can't watch the news, it drives me nuts. So I had to turn the TV off, you know, because your blood pressure. Yeah, it's, you know, it's like I said, the point of the news isn't about giving you information. It isn't about being truthful in that information. It's about ratings. It's about sensationalism. It's about, you know, what can get eyes on the product, you know, and retracting and backtracking is allowed with impunity because it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how many times do you know, something comes out and then it like trickles out that was wrong, but that has already run its course, and, you know, no, people aren't listening to the fact that, you mean it was wrong? You mean that wasn't true? You know, you know, and that's the way it is. So, hey.
Stay there.
Get your iPad and get out.
I want my iPad.
Take your iPad and get out. Close the door. Yeah. Nice guy. He purposely left his iPad in here so he'd have to come back in. So, other than that, you know, you have to, like I said, you have to take it upon yourself to turn it off, to get up and walk around. You know, it's like, oh, you know, I can't go to the gym and exercise, so that means I can't exercise. Like, no. You don't need to pay for a gym membership. You don't have to have all this equipment. You know, there are things that you could do at home. And the guidelines change nearly hourly. Yeah, and again, different states have different guidelines and stuff like that. Because, again, you know, people want to complain that, you know, you don't want the federal government in your business, you know, and they're not supposed to supersede state government. So it's like, all right, you want to bitch that the federal government isn't putting certain, you know, implements in place and things like that. Well, then they're going to override the government of the state. It was like, you know, our president said that he was going to quarantine New York, and New York said, you can't do that, it's against the law, and we'll consider that an act of war. It's like, this is nonsense, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, people are just trying to stop, you know, but again, you know, we can go on about this for hours, we know we can. But again, it's just a matter of turning it off, changing the conversation. Like, don't talk about it. Like, my husband will come upstairs and he'll, like, I was like taking a nap. My head was like hurting. It still is. And he was like, you know, can I change the TV? And I'm like, what are you putting on? He's like, I won't put on Fox News, because he knows I won't let him. It's like, no, I don't care. I could be dead asleep. You still can't put on Fox News. You want to go watch Fox News, you have to go downstairs. But you know, it's just like, you know, and so many of my videos are about, like, you know, COVID-19 and this and that, and I try to avoid a lot of them. I'm just like, oh, I just want to watch spooky stuff. I just want to watch, you know, all this other stuff, you know, ghosts and paranormal and all that other junkola. You know, I don't want to watch more of that, you know. If I want to watch that, I'll go out of my way, I guess, at that point, you know. But, and, you know, Facebook is the worst because people are just vomiting. You know, I've actually noticed, believe it or not, over the last 2 weeks that I have gotten less notifications on my Facebook, because I really think that people are literally frustrated with Facebook, because it's you know, it'd be one thing for like a day or two for, like, you know, a controversial topic to come up and people fight about it, and then it trickles off. It's like, this is like day to day to day to day to day to day to day that people are like, okay, I just can't even go on because that's all I fucking see. Like, even in some of the groups that I've seen where it's like, listen, this is all about loom knitting. You know, it's not like, well, our group here, we can talk about other things, you can share other things, you know, we can have those kind of conversations, but other groups aren't like that. And, like, literally admin have to police people because, like, they're still trying to, like, interject that. It's like, no, this place is not for that. You want to do that, you want to talk about that, go the fuck somewhere else. But you know, like I said, it's just, you know, you have to take it upon yourself to, if something is upsetting you, it's giving you anxiety, it's frustrating you, then you need to get up and you need to walk away. You know, you could, you know, like I said, you can go out your doors, you know, you can change the TV station. You know, there are plenty of things that you can figure out to do in your home. You know, Cindy's been baking for her neighbors, you know, find something to do that you can help out then. You know, do something, you know, see if an elderly neighbor needs someone to go shopping for them, if you're willing to, you know, go out in the world and brave the world and things like that. You know, there have been a couple of groups, you know, especially like for the kids, and like the rainbows, painting the rainbows in the windows, and things like that. Like out here they have like teddy bears, people putting teddy bears in their windows for like the kids to see, like when they do go on their little walks and things like that. So, you know, there are things you can do, you know, and like I said, reach out to people. You know, maybe you can't go see your loved ones, you can't, you know, you don't want to, you know, you don't want to go out, or you don't want to worry about them getting sick or anything like that. You know, we do have the technology to still communicate with each other, the same way that I do this, you know, as much as I can, so that we can communicate. You know, you can see me, you can hear me, you know, and we can interact on a timely fashion. In that case, everybody's here, and sometimes I entertain, but you know, that's like, life right now is difficult, and we really have to think outside the routine and think of things beforehand. Like I did say to my husband, I was like, you know, I almost feel like after this, you know, after all this said and done, maybe this will be like a soft reset button for the world. You know, maybe things will kind of back up a little bit, and you know, we'll have to, you know, be closer and connect in a different way, and you know, worrying about how much stuff is and things like that. You know, that's gonna have to, you know, gas is so freaking cheap. I mean, how many places, you know, that gas was like over $3, and now you have some places where it's like 69 cents a gallon because nobody can go anywhere, nobody's buying gas, you know, so everything is gonna have to slowly build back up, you know, and, you know, maybe it won't be so bad to live, because again, we're gonna have to learn almost a new world to live in. So maybe that'll be a good thing that comes out of everything. But I think that's really all I've got tonight. So, like I said, I still do have a major migraine. Hi, Deb. So, well, yeah, in your case, you know, it's a totally different thing with Doug and going back and forth, and you know, and you have to worry, especially because again, you do have to go out and you do have to bring him to the doctor or deal with stuff, and you do have to go out in the world and, you know, provide, and then worry whether or not, you know, you have to make sure that you don't get sick, because then if you get sick, who's going to take care of him? Or if you get it and you give it to him, you know, he's very compromised, you know, having ALS. And so I can totally understand, you know. So I know I feel bad, like every so often I'll like be like, hey, how you doing? And you're like, and I'm like, I wish I could help. I wish I could say anything, you know, that would, you know. Just know that I'm here to vent too, if you do want to vent and scream and yell and throw things, virtually at least. But, you know, me personally, I've just been taking the time to relax and, you know, do things. I know, like, my husband's been, you know, doing, you know, stuff in the house and, you know, stuff in the garage and things like that. You know, my husband always has to keep himself occupied, so, come hell or high water, you know, he can't sit still, otherwise he's unconscious. But, you know, I've been knitting and stuff like that. I actually finished this, well, I didn't finish it, I had to bind it off, but I was making a hat for my daughter. So, it's Little Heart Stitches. I know it's I think it's by Teresa Higbee, I think her name was. Luma Hat did a video, and then the original pattern, the original stitch person, has a video as well. So, if you guys want, I'll post it later. But yeah, you know, like I've just been doing that, and, you know, like I said, I play my one game online, and I watch my videos on my YouTube, and I hang out with the kids, and, you know, and just, you know, do what I've got to do. So I guess I was built at this point for social distancing. It's fine with me. But yeah, you know, you just, you know, the world is in a state of flux right now, you know. You know, it's kind of shaking itself, and You know, some things are gonna fall, and as many as people as we hope can get through this, and hopefully we'll be better in the long run. Like I said, I always feel it's gonna get worse before it gets better, but I hope that in the end it makes something even better out of it, and something that'll last. It's like, all right, we're not gonna just come together for a month or two and then everybody go back to being the same old selfish prick and in their own little worlds. So hopefully as a world, especially since it is a world epidemic, but especially in this country, given the fact that we've never even really lived through something like this in over 100 years, I guess, or close to 100 years, that, we come out better for it. So, again, I think I'm going to end it here, on a high note, I guess, to a degree. I hope everybody stays safe. I hope everybody stays well. Just everybody, if everybody does a little bit of their part and, just keeps the distance and, figure out your ways and things like that. I know we're all worried about money and we're all worried about those things, but, being alive and keeping those close to you, safe and warm and things like that, those are the things that you really should care about, So a lot of times, you'd think it's like, oh, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that because you're never home. Well, this is the perfect time to do some of those things. Get your mind off things or spend time with your kids that you don't get to spend the time with, or with your families that you live with. And, and again, even though we're socially distancing, which means just, maybe it's just like personal space distance, it doesn't mean we have to be socially away from everybody. You can still pick up a phone, you could still text somebody, you could still message somebody, stick, a comment on someone's wall, just letting them know that you're thinking about them and making sure they're okay. So, and I think in the end we'll all get through it. So, but hopefully I'll be back next week. So, I made it on this week. I told you no matter what I was coming on. So, I'm gonna go crawl back into bed and go to sleep because my head is killing me. But I hope everybody enjoyed. I hope everybody had a nice time. I hope I helped everybody out and, be safe and be well. So, bye.